This is our 2001 Acura Integra Type R. This is the car that I wanted to build for 20 years. About 5 years ago, I got lucky enough to find a good 90,000 mile street car with the sole purpose of turning into a race car. So this has been a long path. You know, it took a year. The first part of the build took a year to get it ready to go out to the track. So, and then since then we've kind of found weak points, made it better, another weak point, make it better. So it's a 2001 Acura Integra Type R. Originally we built it for the SCCA STL class. Since that first iteration, I've kind of tinkered here, tinkered there, so it would kind of fall into an STU class if I had to go race it. But, you know, I don't actively care about what class it's going to be raced in. Whenever I go to the track, I either do it for fun or I'll just race whatever class they put me in. So it's an SCCA logbook car. It's got 4 or 5 different race weekends on it. I'll usually sticker it up when we go to the track, and I'll peel the stickers off when we're done. So lately I've been looking at like HSR stuff to run it in, just something for fun, something to have a good time with. So it may be out there at some point this year, but basically the once over the car is it's a 1.8 liter B18C5 engine, been completely gone through by Jeremy Allen at Allen Built Components. It's got pistons and rods in it, nothing fancy, you know, 11:1 compression. It's got all Supertech valve train in the head. It's got a PLN total replica header on it. It's running a B18C5 transmission. The current one has a 4.7 final drive in it with an in-factory one-way LSD. I also have a 4.9 final drive just so we can kind of have both best of both worlds, and just it's always nice to have spares. So over the years we've found stuff that works and found stuff that doesn't work. So originally it was on a Honda. Honda was fine, it was doing its job. We wanted like maximum reliability, so a couple years back we switched over to a Motec M130. Maximum reliability, right? Because you can set all the safeties you want in that thing, so get all the data you want to out of it. So recently put the Comptech Icebox on there, actually CT Engineering Icebox, because that's just what I wanted on there. It may not make the best power, but it looks the best in the engine bay. So we got a custom CNR radiator built. So it's a full width radiator with a fan shroud and shrouds, and it actually has an oil cooler integrated into the bottom of it. So just something to kind of keep things compact, keep them out of the way, one less extra thing to mount on the front of the car. So as you can see, packaging in the engine bay is a little bit of a problem just because of how much street car-ish it still is. So one of the main goals that I had with the car was to make sure that it still looked completely like a street car. I want it to look completely like a 2001 Integra Type R. And I think, you know, we hit that point for the most part. So that's most of the engine stuff. Wheels and tires are 15x8, and then I run a 205 50/15 tire. Right now there's just a Continental Extreme Contact. It's my street tire. I'll use it for rain at the racetrack. So I have a bunch of old stock of BFG R1 tires. I've been running through those things for years. So I think I got 4 brand new ones left, and after that I guess I'll have to spend some money on something nice. The brakes are AP Racing brakes. Fast Brakes out in Arizona put the kit together for me. It's got a multi-piece rotor, 2-piece rotor, and then the AP Racing caliper. So it's a great setup. I went to that setup mainly because of heat concerns with the factory brakes. So at Daytona, we actually had so much heat being built up in the brakes and in the axle area that actually broke an outer boot. The boot flung around and took out a brake line on braking into turn 6 or 7, whatever turn it is, you know, before you go out into the banking. And luckily I was able to kind of swerve around the tire wall and get everything slowed down, but it could have been pretty catastrophic. So after that, I'm like, we need to do everything we can to manage heat in the front wheel, rotor, caliper, spindle area. So added honed performance brake ducts up front and the AP Racing calipers, the complete brake setup, and after that I've never had a problem. A lot of cars, a lot of Hondas, you got a left foot pump going in the corners. Never crosses my mind these things. The calipers have the knockback springs in them, which makes it really nice. I've run a lot of Hondas on track over the years, and by far one of the best changes I've ever made to any Honda I've raced is the Hone Performance Brake Booster Delete Kit. So it eliminates the brake booster, it uses an OEM master, and they got a couple of different size recommendations depending on what your brake setup is. But then they relocate the actual rod to have the correct ratio for pedal pressure. It's magical. No, it's not Porsche or Miata magical, but the pedal itself feels like no other Honda pedal that I've experienced. So completely changes the way it is. You can really get on the pressure of the brake pedal and really get that thing hauled down. I highly recommend it. It's just way more consistent than what the stock spongy pedal feel is in a Honda. So also we did a sensor block. So we eliminated the distributor by going to the T1 cam trigger and the K-Series NGK coil packs. So we had room in the engine bay. Again, I mentioned engine bay packaging has always been a problem with this car. So we built out this sensor block. So this sensor block right here houses oil pressure, fuel pressure, water pressure, and a fuel sample valve. So really it's just a way to consolidate everything into one spot, one wiring harness running to it, and then all the fittings and all the hoses and all the lines just come to one location. Just ease of use, easy packaging for the engine bay. That was kind of the thought process behind that. The car is currently being run on Tony 3011 double adjustable coilovers. So I don't like a too stiffly sprung car, so it's 700-pound front spring and like a 600-pound rear spring with a 24mm rear bar on it, and the whole thing has spherical bearings on it. It's all kingpin stuff for all the control arms. So it actually drives pretty good. I don't really have any complaints about the drivability of the car. The combination of no power steering, it's been completely deleted. SHG up in Massachusetts or Connecticut, somewhere up in the Northeast, I sent them the rack and they completely eliminated the power steering, so it's a converted to a full-on manual rack now. And then the one-way LSD in the transmission, it'll torque steer. It'll pull the thing out of your hand. So you got to manhandle a little bit. It's just the way it's got to be driven. But in general, the car will do exactly what you want it to do. So when we got the car, we stripped it down. One of the first projects we did was to work on getting the roll cage put in it. We did a lot of research, tried to pick the right builder. I actually drove this car all the way to Virginia to Piper Motorsports. Mitch up there has done these Integras before. The work he does on other cars speaks for itself. So I was very confident to take the car to Virginia, drop it off, go over the plan, and know that when I went back to pick it up, I think it was like a month later, it was gonna be perfect. And it was perfect. So did FIA door bars. He did a seat mount for us. So he did a lot of the stuff inside safety-wise to make it set up for us to be able to race kind of wherever or however we want. I feel very safe in this car. The positioning of the seat, the way the door bars kind of give you the room, I feel very safe. So we painted it in-house. Gentleman that painted it, man, I owe him a lot because it was a long, tedious project. So if anybody ever paints a roll cage for you, they deserve lots of 12 packs of beer, I guess. So I tried to keep it as stock looking as possible. That was a goal. Again, I want the exterior to look kind of like a street car. I want the interior to kind of still look like a street car. So still got the center console. We still retain the factory gauge cluster. I just use this AIM Solo for the lap timers, and then the Motec gets all the data stuff. So got the original Type R badge in there still. The middle is just switches. We got a power switch. We got a switch for our cool shirt. We have an AccuSump oil system, and then the fire suppression system. So interior, I tried to keep it nice and clean and tidy, and I think we really pulled that thing off. So I love I love the way it came out, and I love being able to sit in and actually race this car at the track. So if you guys saw anything that you've got questions about, feel free to leave it in the comments. Let me know. We'll be active. We'll respond to any questions you got. If we need to take some more video and kind of give you an idea of what else we did to it, or got any questions of how we did anything, feel free to reach out. So